Hey guys, welcome back to another video. First off, I just want to express my gratitude. I'm like overwhelmed and completely overcome by all of the support and all of the love that you guys gave me in my last video. This is a really difficult and really distressing time for me, and this is not a boohoo poor me video. I'm dealing with it, but I just want to relay and like show like everything that I'm going through with you guys and share that, because I think that it is important to talk about the realities of eating disorders and the reality of recovery, the reality of what it actually does to you physically, and that it's not just about just simply eat and get better. It can be a lot more complex than that. Maybe someone that's not suffered an eating disorder for so long, it really just is a case of just eat and everything goes smoothly. But for someone like myself who has had, got a hair here, had a long-term eating disorder, it's a lot more complex, both psychologically and physically. And obviously I want to share that with you guys. And like last week was so the last few weeks, everything is just so difficult, and I don't want to come on here and be like, yeah, everything's great guys, like recovery's going awesome, when it's not, when I'm like in constant pain. I'm getting these excruciating cramps in my legs, all from trying to eat more and trying to recover. So you think like, and even a lot of the professionals think that, when you start eating more, they tell you, things will get better, your mood will get better, you'll start to feel better. But then in reality, when the opposite happens, you're like, what the fuck is going on here? What the actual fuck? What is the point in this? And I know that this is just a hump, that maybe like when I get over that hump, this hair is annoying me, then yeah, maybe then things will be better. But it's getting over that hump, especially when the pain is excruciating. And eating is difficult enough without having to, and like recovery and the psychological part is difficult enough without having to deal with a lot of these physical things that I'm going through, as well as maybe working with a team of people who are, for want of a better word, clueless. Clueless to, okay, they're not completely clueless, but my situation is somewhat baffling to them, or even things that I would expect them to know and understand, they don't. I mean, for example, when I told them about the severe cramps that I'm getting in my legs at night, it was one of my like scientist friends, I've got quite a lot of scientist friends, who had said to me, protein can act as a diuretic, it's a lot more dehydrating, and maybe it's like because of that, and obviously the extra work on your kidneys, and it's not used to that, and that is causing the leg cramps. When I told my dietitian that, she was like, protein's more dehydrating, that's interesting, and started taking notes. And I was like, you're the one who supposedly studied dietetics and nutrition for 4 years, who has supposedly worked in this field for years with people like myself for years, yet this is brand new information to you. I mean, it only really took me asking a couple of people to find that out for myself. So it's really it's difficult to trust people when you come up against things like that. And from your guys' comments in my last video, like, honestly, like, people tell you not to take like advice from people online, but so many of your guys' comments were gems. Like, they actually were. They made me think about things that I can incorporate, but I didn't just take it at face value. I then went and Googled and done my research on some of the things that you guys had suggested, and there is so much goodness in there. There are things that I've come up with myself, things that have been instigated by some of your guys' suggestions, and yes, I'm so glad I put that video out, really, because I cannot explain like how helpful it has been. And something that did surprise me is the fact that in my last video, I had been so distressed, I was all over the place. I was like, do I go back to my vegan diet? Do I do this? Do I do that? And I think like not even one person said to me, yes, go back to veganism, because I was expecting, like after I'd said that, I was expecting like quite a lot of people to just say, yeah, go back to veganism. But even a lot of you guys are now understanding the psychological like consequences of me doing that, and maybe encouraging a more sort of like a more moderate approach to things, not having to be all or nothing like vegan or omnivore, but just plant-based, something in between. Not having like this 150 grams of animal protein that I've suddenly had to jump to, but just having something in between there. Some people have like suggested vegetarianism. Now the thing is, I don't want to say, yeah, I'm like vegetarian or I'm doing this and I'm doing that, because it's labels that sometimes can be really they can be a problem for people with eating disorders, because when you label yourself as something, the eating disorder can attach onto that. So what, obviously, now you're all going to be wondering, well, what exactly am I doing now? And basically, I just need to trust myself a lot more, trust my own intuition, which is difficult when you have an eating disorder, because it's like, is this my intuition or is this the eating disorder's voice, like telling me it's intuition? And to realise that, yeah, why should I be forcing myself to eat foods and drink drinks and stuff that I don't even really enjoy just for the sake of it? This is about creating habits of a lifetime. Sorry, like creating new habits to replace habits of a lifetime. Now, you've probably all heard of the fact that, the saying that diets don't work, because diets are temporary, you eventually need to come off a diet. Now, I think the same thing is like relevant here. If I want to create new lasting habits, they're ones that I've kind of got to instill now. I don't want to like eat certain like foods that I absolutely hate, if it's not going to be sustainable. I need to do things in a way that's going to like create long-term habits and long-term change, because that is what I need, and create this lasting good relationship with food and with my body. And as huge a task that is going to be, it's a challenge that I am willing to take on, and I am excited for it. So I'm not labeling myself as any vegan, vegetarianism. I guess the only thing I will label myself is flexitarian, and what this means is like what I think I had done was went from being vegan when I had very, very low protein up to like just being full on omnivore, and the jump from like about 30 grams of protein per day up to 150 grams plus of protein a day was just like a huge shock to my body. The types of food that I was eating completely just changed overnight, more or less, and that was a huge shock to my body and my whole system. And like, of course that's going to have detrimental and bad effects, and my digestion wasn't coping with it. I've been getting these severe cramps and everything. So what I'm going to do now is just sit somewhere in the middle. Do you like my nails, by the way? To sit somewhere in the middle where it's like yeah, that's just really kind of where it is. Taking a more moderate and balanced approach, but other than just the nutritional side of things, like in terms of what I eat, it's more about just relaxing more.
Right? Just relax. Relax. Relax.
Trusting myself, enjoying the food, seeing food as like this something that should be enjoyed, rather than something that should be feared, or something that I just need to eat to put on weight. If I view food as something that I just need to eat to put on weight, what a shitty way to look at it. I always like, it's the same way if like you're someone that's on a diet and you buy in all these disgusting cardboard diet biscuits or something, and you eat them, right, just to lose weight. You're losing the whole enjoyment and the social aspect of food, the nourishment as well. And I'm one of these people that does believe that, as woo as it might sound, like as much as the food itself is nourishing, it's your whole attitude as well that is very important. I don't know if you've heard of this before actually, but there was this is going a little bit off track, but I just think it's kind of cool. There was like a study done, like a survey, and they took people from America and they asked them how do they feel, like what are the feelings associated around eating cake, right? And then the Americans and the UK people all answered guilt, like guilt was the main one, to be honest, indulgence, feeling terrible, fat. These were all the sort of words that came up around eating cake, right? And then they asked French people, what are the sort of words that come up associated with cake? And the French people all said celebration, love, family, fun, feeling good, delicious, party. It was all these sort of positive adjectives and positive feelings, because the French, they like they see food more as a pleasure. They take time over their meals. The French sometimes sit for hours over their meals. And I'm not saying like the French diet is, I'm not saying anything about the diet here, right, of anyone. I'm talking more here about the attitude towards food, the attitude surrounded and the feelings associated with certain foods. And it's that guilt and that, the indulgence and the, oh, I've been naughty having cake, that's just so bad in Western society. But when you take a culture, when it's more about the celebration, the enjoyment, the social aspect, it's it's a game changer. It's a completely different thing, and I think that is a lot of what is a problem here, just in the world in general. It's certainly a problem with me and other people who do have eating disorders or issues and disordered thoughts about body image and food. So there's a little nugget just to bear in mind there. And that is something that I am definitely going to be working on myself, to see food as this pleasure, to try and change my attitude towards it, to eat more colours and just enjoy the rainbow and all that kind of jazzy stuff. So this has been a little ramble video again, guys, just to like kind of update you on what I am doing. And yeah, that's kind of it. I'm going to put up another video after this one, just to like let you know how I'm going to go about these changes, what I'm going to be doing, and if there's anyone out there who is struggling as well, or wants to like kind of change their attitude towards food and wants to join me, and do it along with me, then you are welcome to join. So that video shall be up right after this one. So thanks again for watching this video again, guys. Thank you so much for all your support. I'll get through this, and so will you, if you're whatever it is that you're trying to get through. Yeah, talk to you soon.